So we might as well talk about IDA stuff. We have two very prominent IDA folks here. And well, actually we have 3, 4, 5. We're all IDA. So I'm throwing it out there. So. But yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we could definitely talk about that, we want to give people updates, right?
So Keith, wants to go first to the IDA first and kind of go over what the IDA has been going on. It kind of blew up right in the beginning. Everybody's kind of freaking out. You're probably a lot more adjusted. Keith's had that lane. I've had a lane of my own. So I think Keith is probably more adapted to speaking from the IDA standpoint currently.
Yeah. And I think the thing to realize with all this is that we don't know, so again, we're all guys here. So those 3 magic words, I don't know, don't really apply to us because we would never say that. But the truth of the matter is we don't know. The government doesn't know. Now, I mean, when you look at the guy leading the government's response, Dr. Fauci, if there's a guy who has better credentials in the world at what we're dealing with, please somebody tell me who that is, because I don't think there is. And he even says, we don't know everything we need to know yet. And so the IDA's response was initially, hey, we are essential. We can clean vehicles. We can do things. And as answers became more concrete or more stabilized is a better word, the IDA went through its process and realized that really isn't the right answer for us as an industry, for us as a industry leading association. So they came out with a second bulletin that said, we aren't essential unless we're performing certain services in a certain way. And we can get into the mechanics of that. And Renny and I have kind of, I think, gotten to the point where we're like, dude, we're going to stop talking about that because there's a lot of controversy there. And what I'll say is, and what we've been saying is, if you aren't listening to the CDC, if you aren't listening to the EPA on what products will work, the CDC on for what procedures are appropriate and control measures should be in place, and what the government is telling you now, we as an industry association aren't going to give you better guidance than they are. So the IDA has taken the stance that unless you're doing essential services, unless you are doing things in the appropriate way, the proper way, as outlined by either your local government or federal government, we're recommending as an IDA group not to be operating and work on your business in other ways, unless you can operate safely. Now, if you're a one-man show in the middle of Montana and there's no cases in your county, you probably could go ahead and have your shop open and do paint corrections. But much beyond that, it's really hard for anybody to say they can kill the virus with any certainty because there's no testing available to any of us to prove that. Right. Most of us don't have the proper PPE to continuously operate in the way we should. And we don't have any guarantee that everything that we know now is concrete enough to say we're doing everything that should be done. So what do I mean by that? When you look at all the material out there, it all says this will kill SARS. So this virus is really a SARS-CoV-2, which is actually a third version of the virus. But nobody has done enough testing to say everything that worked for SARS-1 worked for SARS-2. Right. So the abundance of caution message from the IDA is if you don't have everything you possibly can have to meet all the standards, you shouldn't be operating. That would be best practices. But again, as an association, we can't tell you to or not to operate. We can only give you our best, guidance. So that's kind of where the IDA is. They're fielding questions. They are also, again, in the referral business. They're trying to steer you toward the right research sites. And my thing as a manufacturer's rep is we don't have all the answers either. We're giving you the research what we've got from the government, and that's the guideline we're trying to work from as well. So that's kind of the IDA's perspective right now and talks with everybody. But one of the big things is stop bagging on each other. And this is, I will speak for the IDA here, and Cheryl can slap my hand later. Stop bagging on each other. Stop fighting with each other. Share information that you have. If you think somebody's doing it wrong, call them personally. Otherwise, don't attack them on social media. Yeah. Put your opinion out there. If you say, this is what we're doing, this is our facts-based and evidence-based process, and this is what we feel is the right answer, and run with it, But stop attacking each other. The public is watching what we as the cleaning professionals are doing. And for the most part, everybody's kind of going the way of abundance of caution, taking a step back, not working because we don't know. And that's a great way to go. But if somebody is working, far be it from me to attack them for doing that. If I have an issue with what they're doing and how they're doing it, I know how to pick up the phone or message them and say, hey, you know, I don't know if you know, but I really don't think you're doing it the right way. Otherwise, stay positive, you know, be positive toward people, be supportive, and share information.
Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And make sure you are subscribed to the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel. So, at any rate, that's us, and we'll see you later. Adios.